Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 3-bike platform rack. We're seeing how it fits here on our 2024 Kia Niro. The Kuat Transfer is really popular because of its unique goalpost design. This is going to be Kuat's entry-level bike rack that gives you that stability of a platform rack, but also not as pricey as, let's say, their Kuat Sherpa or their Kuat NV. Something that's usually a downside for a transfer, but not in the case of our Niro, is that it usually doesn't tilt down far enough to get hatch access. But because the Niro's hatch is rather on the small size for the door, and because of how this is shaped, we actually get plenty of clearance, well not plenty, but decent clearance to lower down our bike rack and then open up our hatch. So if you step into the rack, you're able to press on this lever, holding onto the bike as you drop it to the ground. And let's get a look here, especially at the handlebars, at our door as it opens. So it opens up and it looks like it comes super close to the handlebars. It does clear. I have mountain bike on our bike rack right now, so it does have longer handlebars than a road bike. So it was really nice to see that we were able to clear, still get access to our cargo area, grab whatever we needed. If you wanted to switch out your shoes, this would be the perfect time to do so. I'm gonna manually lower this so you can see that distance. It comes really close, but it clears, which is awesome to see. Bringing this back up, all you need to do is lift up on the rack, snaps into place, and now you are ready to drive. So let's talk about what types of bikes this can carry. This doesn't have as much weight capacity as the Kuat NV, but still pretty decent at a 40-pound per bike weight capacity. This can carry different types of wheelbases, although if you have an extra long frame, that's something to be mindful of. With how it sits on the bike, you have the front and rear cradle, and then you have a front wheel mount. So there's zero frame contact, no matter what type of frame you have, that's perfectly fine. If we want to take off your bike, what you do need to do though is go over to the rear wheel strap. Press the lever, release the strap, just like that, and then you're able to take the bike up and out. I'll pull the strap over to the side so it's easier to get access to and doesn't get caught up in our spokes. As I lift these masts over, hold on to the bike as I press this lever, lift up, push out, and now I can grab the bike and go. If you have your other bikes off, having that goalpost design is very convenient because then you can step into the rack and not have to reach over the entire bike rack. Now let's take a closer look at those cradles. Notice the size of the cradles. The maximum tire width you can carry this is going to be up to 3 inches. If you do want to carry a fat bike, something to be mindful of is that you may need to get an extra long strap in order to accommodate that. This rear cradle pivots back and forth, and then these front wheel masts fold in to be nice and neat. Now what I like to do, you don't have to do it, but I recommend it, is to fold the hooks in against your rear cradles. That takes up less space behind your vehicle, but also is an extra security spot for those cradles. The Transfer is going to be a longer bike rack compared to other 3 bike racks. So let's take some measurements here. We're going to measure from our bumper, and then we are going to go to the end of the rack, right there. This is at 43 inches, which is a lot of space. If you have a small garage or need to park into a tight spot, that's a measurement to be mindful of. Your Niro doesn't take up much space, so you do have more to work with, but this is a lot of bike rack. The next measurement is going to be ground clearance. So measuring at the end of the rack to the ground, I have it at 80 inches of distance here, which is on a pretty decent size or height. You're not going to be as likely to scrape against the ground when you go up driveways and steep hills. And it's also not too high where it's going to make it difficult to load your bikes up. Another thing you can do with this rack is you can fold it up into a more compact position. So remember the lever we pulled earlier? We're going to push this lever again, but this time we're going to pull up on the rack and then bring it up against our car. Measuring again for distance, we're going to go from bumper to the end of the rack. This now sits at 9 inches away from our vehicle. Big difference compared to when it was folded down. You'll have it in this position when you're driving around town. This is also the perfect time just to see and appreciate that open goalpost design. Most bike racks are going to cover things like your license plate or your backup camera. But with this open design, you're going to have almost full visibility behind you. This does stick pretty high up though. You are going to have that mast in the way of your rear window, but it doesn't take up that much space, so you'll still be able to see a lot and still see through your rear mirrors. Plus, you also have the taillights exposed while you are on the road. With all that being said, this does secure into a 2-inch hitch receiver on your Niro. If you do not already have a 2-inch hitch receiver, you can find one here in eTrailer. We did install this actually earlier today. This comes with a pin and a clip, not a lock. A lock is going to be sold separately, and you can find one here on our website if you need to add one on. This does secure with a special security Torx key, so that's going to be your security feature when you don't have a lock just yet. Well, with all that being said, it does take up a lot of space and it may look a little bulky, but I think it's a really good fit with a Niro, especially since we are still able to tilt the whole rack away and get access to our hatch even with the bike on. Now, if you're looking though to carry around even more bikes, adding a 4th one on here might be a little overkill here on a Niro. I would recommend something a little bit more compact, like the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4. That's going to be a very lightweight 4-bike carrier. The downside to the Destination is it does not tilt away like the Kuat Transfer can. It is going to be an entry-level bike rack, while the Transfer is an entry-level with premium features rack. So you just saw the Kuat Transfer V2 3-bike platform rack here on the 2024 Kia Niro.